Dababy is a very disgusting person. He sits in podcasts and tells lies about me. I am going to file a lawsuit against him. I have never been to Diddy's party. All of this is lies that he tells.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
A campaign that say free Beyonce.
Beyonce is victorious.
She is a prisoner in a gilded cage.
Did you see where Jay-Z and Beyonce's daughter Blue Ivy introduced her salon son to your song, Shake Something?
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. You know what I mean? I ain't know how true it was or not, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, you know, if it come from in-house, you know.
Knew it about Jay-Z. And because he's a Jay-Z fan, and, you know, he's a boss himself.
Wait a second. It's not Dababy stepping forward to accuse Beyonce of attending a freak-off party. A clip from Dababy's interview with Shannon Sharpe, in which he said that Beyonce and Jay-Z were there at Diddy's wild party a few months ago, is now making the rounds online, further deepening the disaster that is Diddy. Certain think Jay was trying to get Beyonce to sign with Diddy for certain business transactions. The public perception of Jay and Beyonce as a power couple caused many to ignore the persistent claims that he treated Beyonce similarly to how Diddy treated Cassie. So what? He keeps Beyonce up all night long so she can do all those sinful things. Surprisingly, several of Beyonce's close associates, including Dababy, have also spoken out about this. But it was Dababy who finally roused people from their slumber and let them know the truth. Now, as I'm sure you're all aware by now, Diddy's reign as the industry villain has officially ended with his arrest and incarceration by Homeland Security. And right now, 2 different courts have refused his bail requests in the last 48 hours, even though he has offered a bond of $50 million and has pledged all of his assets, including his mom's, as well as the passports of all of his children. The judges are truly standing on business, and they want that devil to remain in his maggot-infested cage until that trial begins. And if that wasn't horrible enough, he's facing up to 100 years in prison, and even his defense team is confused about precisely how they're going to get him out of this.
All jail calls are recorded.
You think I wasn't gonna get at you from the inside?
He has reached out to a witness, an alleged participant in multiple freak-offs.
Then why Oprah staying quiet? Why Ellen moving to another country?
And he's asking people to intimidate witnesses or pay people off.
Don't be shocked if nobody show up to testify.
Defendant's goal is to blackmail victims and witnesses either into silence or providing testimony helpful to his defense.
Guilty.
To get to the meat of the arrest story, it turns out that 6 months earlier, his residence was raided and over 1,000 bottles of lubricant, along with rifles and ammunition, were discovered. 3 semi-automatic rifles with tampered serial numbers and a drum magazine were also discovered, according to a recent press conference by U.S. prosecutor Damian Williams. Prosecutors also accused Diddy of building a criminal operation whose members, under his command, participated in forced labor, abduction, arson, and bribes. He urged ladies and those around him to satisfy his wants, as well as hitting, punching, pulling, hurling items at, and kicking them. But here is where things began getting even wilder, because the prosecution expressly indicated that Diddy wasn't operating this operation on his own, and that he had other celebrities and other influential individuals who were significantly engaged in these illegal acts as well.
Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know,
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, 2 of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in.
This information was disclosed in his indictment, and I quote, "For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant, encouraged women and others around him to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Now I need y'all to really pay attention to this part. They said, to do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone.
Do I tell the truth? Do I expose them?
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit.
She did several rappers from Houston.
Is it true that Jay-Z used to beat Beyonce?
If Beyonce getting high, that's her business. If she putting on a strap on and tearing Jay back out, that's not exposure to me.
She touched Jay-Z's chest and Beyonce came walking up like,
this is not working.
Now, the prosecutors didn't directly release the identities of these persons because they are still collecting evidence against them to go to trial with. But this statement opened up the door for a whole lot of conjecture as to who those people are. And as y'all may obviously imagine, the names that were at the top of everybody's list were Jay-Z and Beyonce. The suspicions about Beyonce and Jay being connected became even worse when a footage of Dababy was interviewed on Shannon Sharpe's program a few months ago began going viral. In this interview, Dababy spilled some tea that nobody was expecting to hear. He talked up about the moment that he met Beyonce and Jay-Z at one of Diddy's industry parties at Diddy's mansion. He held back on giving into specifics about what precisely the party was about, but he claimed there were some influential individuals present and that Beyonce really went up to him to introduce herself, almost as if she was attempting to seduce her way into anything more than just a discussion. Dababy also alleged that Diddy pulled out all the other non-important guests from the room, leaving just him, Beyonce, Jay, and a few other high-profile people in there. According to Dababy, Diddy proceeded to get a bit touchy and even wrapped his hands around his neck.
Beyonce, I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put him out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Mm-hmm. Me and maybe about 15 others.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in
right
at the moment, And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope.
This whipped the internet into a frenzy and had a lot of people giving Beyonce the side eye. One individual remarked, "Oh, she came over and introduced herself to you? The Beyonce presented herself to you. Ooh, we waking it up." Another individual replied, "You let that man put his arm around you, Dababy. Of course he took a like to you. It wasn't even about your music, it was in other ways. And of course Beyonce did, she awed herself, and Jay-Z more worse. Everybody who attended to Diddy's parties is guilty." Some folks even went as far as suggesting that Jay was out here pimping Beyonce to Diddy.
You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
There already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this.
Mr. Combs was in the tape and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really?
This was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped, like they're being surreptitiously recorded.
They know what happens at midnight. At midnight, certain things happen. Girls get naked. All of a sudden, everybody's naked. Who do you think went through there? Everybody.
Now, some of y'all may not know this, but there have been rumors regarding Jay-Z keeping Beyonce drugged in order to control her and have her doing things she wouldn't ordinarily do if she was sober. Not only that, but Jay also reportedly puts his hands on her when she gets out of order. The drug allegations were originally initiated by her ex-bodyguard, Uncle Ron, who used to work for her during the early phases of her career.
But I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way. Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Hey, I get the threats. I know so much about you and what you've done on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you.
Now, I don't know about y'all, but Jay supposedly keeping her on narcotics is pretty similar to what Diddy was doing to Cassie. If y'all recall, Cassie stated the only way she was able to partake in these freak-offs was if she was on something, since she wasn't able to do it sober. Oh, but it doesn't end there. Jaguar Wright also jumped into the discussion a few months back, and she had also accused Jay of keeping Beyonce on narcotics for the same reasons that Uncle Ron was saying.
Why has Jay-Z been coming up with you lately?
Because he's a monster. I waited a long time to see if he would grow a conscience. And the more he pumps down his wife's throat to keep her in the character.
No, girl.
Beyonce is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
One point, I went to Philly, followed him all the way to Philly. He threw a party, and he said, yo, Playboy, this party costs $1.5 million to throw. I'm like, you are out of your mind. And I said, Puff, I'll throw you a party for $400.
So what are your thoughts on all the his celebrity friends that denounced those allegations and were like, this is false, and they were saying, yeah, should they speak up now?
It's getting a little too late for those who are complicit.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire. Very good?
Oh, you put that thing on the wall.
So you see how we do it here on the Saturday. This is what it's You see how we do it here on the Saturday.
And then there was this viral footage of Beyonce seeming spaced out during a basketball game with Jay. She could hardly keep her eyes open and continued gently rotating her head from side to side to remain awake. Her PR staff at the time attempted to get ahead of the matter by stating she was only weary from her rehearsals, but nobody was buying it. Shortly after this, Beyonce's aide informed Media Takeout that Jay was placing his hands on Beyonce. The assistant added, "Seems that for a while he's had a problem with keeping his hands to himself. Now, I've never seen him just flat out hit B, but too many times I've watched him shove and push her." At first, I assumed that it was just a little horseplay between the two, but after I saw how uncomfortable B was to be manhandled in front of me in San Tropez, I understood that it was no joke. I've been Beyonce's assistant and friend for a long now, and I've always wanted to say something, but I never thought it was my place. He treats Beyonce like she's an item, not a person. Chile, it's unclear how far Jay-Z has pulled Beyonce into all this mess, but it's about to come uncovered, and no amount of celebrity or power is going to be able to stop him.
I mean, that's obvious because Beyonce has a deal there, and they know I know her. So, but
how long have you known her?
Wow, a long time.
How long? 10 years?
However long she's been recording. That's when I met her.
Well, don't you remember how long it was?
Yeah, when I met her. I mean,
was it 5 years ago? Was it?
I met her 10 years ago.
But did you say to yourself at that time, "Wow"?
I said, yeah, that's a fantastic talent.
Was that what you said?
Yeah. Because
you saw talent before you saw anything else.
She was singing like a rapper. It was her first song with Wyclef, and she was singing really fast. And I was like, why is she singing so fast? And how is she? And then she was on key and everything. I was like, oh, there's a talented.
I know in the 90s was different. A lot of older guys messed with the girls that were under 17 years of age. I'm going to expose somebody that we all forget about. Y'all see this picture of Jay-Z with Aaliyah when she was underage? Y'all forgot about Jay, huh? We only know about Damon Dash messing with Aaliyah and R. Kelly. But that ain't the only one that Jay had when she was underage. Y'all remember Foxy Brown? Ain't no woman like the one I got. No one could love you better. Foxy was young then as well.
The same reason why he want to erase his history with Foxy Brown and giving her syphilis.
Nobody acknowledged what was going on between her and Mr. Carter. She was 15 and everybody knew it. But see, this is the thing. Back in the 90s, there were a lot of older dudes who slept with younger women. I had a kid at 16 by a man that was 10 years older than me. Rihanna was only 14, 15 when he started with her and signed to the death jail. It's clear to say that the herpes that she had came from the person she had been most sexually involved with, and that was Sean Carter. Chris Brown has his first herpes outbreak from a celebrity girlfriend who he was set up with so people wouldn't pay attention to the fact that she was Jay-Z, underage. Jay-Z gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown.
Baby, it seems like Jay-Z and Beyonce are already feeling the heat following Diddy's arrest, since word on the street is that Jay-Z just met up with a criminal attorney and a divorce counsel on the same day. This revelation put the internet into a frenzy, since soon after Diddy's arrest, there was chatter that the authorities were considering Jay-Z as the next person to investigate, owing to his close links with Diddy and some of the shady dealings they did together in the past. But no one anticipated things to catch up to Jay this early. Everybody knew the feds would look into him once Diddy was convicted and sentenced. But given the fact that he recently met with a criminal defense counsel, it indicates the end could be approaching sooner than we believe. And Beyonce is not waiting around to be dragged along with him. She's apparently already putting divorce paperwork prepared and is ready to depart whenever it hits the fan. Child, without wasting any more time, let's get right into it since the tea is scorching hot. As y'all already know, Jay and Diddy were pretty much besties in the business, and they did everything together. At one point, Diddy was even referring to Jay as his brother. However, shortly after Diddy was incriminated in Cassie's lawsuit, Jay began distancing himself so the heat wouldn't come up to him too. But it's too late for all that now, since this entire disaster is at his front door. And Beyonce is not staying around to assist him through it. In truth, the reports about Beyonce leaving him have been flying about for a few months now, but everyone felt it was a fake. The rumor was created by the YouTube blogger Storm Monroe. According to Storm, he's got multiple sources in the business, and his source, who's really in Beyonce's camp, dropped some exclusive news, stating that Beyonce has been gearing up to leave Jay since last November when Cassie filed the case. According to this source, the reason Beyonce has been pushing all these items and trying to ram records down folks' throats is because things are going to become very terrible, and she's attempting to earn as much money as she possibly can before Jay gets revealed by the government.
And part of the reason why they're already living separate lives and we may actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed. And it's only so much of these stories that Jay-Z can, he can pay off or he can block. He won't be able to stop this. And she knows it and he knows it too. As far as who's gonna be the breakout victim / story, I don't know. Yeah, I might have to ask Jason Lee. I don't know. But I'm just letting you know that once that comes out and Jay-Z is exposed for his nefarious past, you're going to see Beyonce divorce him. Okay. And she may or may not do an interview, but you're going to, their publicist is going to release something. She's going to say, oh, the Carters have been separated for some time. They built this beautiful life, blah, 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 blah. Now, before all this happens, we may get another tour. We may get another album out of both of them. I don't know, because at the end of the day, they about their money first. They're going to do what's best for business first. As far as Beyonce is concerned, do she love him? I mean, he's really all that she knows.
And when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense, since just in the past year and a half alone, she went on a global tour, produced her own movie, created a hair care line, published another record, and established a tequila brand, and is apparently gearing up for another tour. I don't know about y'all, but at the prime of Beyonce's career, she was not pumping out this many projects in such a short length of time. People feel the reason she's putting all this out is because something huge is going to happen that will make people side-eye her too.
Beyonce is being accused again of doing black magic. Now here's what I'm gonna say. Everybody ain't lying. I spent probably a week doing research on all the people that they were connected with, and all of them are connected to some sort of black magic, some sort of witchery.
Beyonce couldn't get pregnant, not naturally. What I do know is this. Beyonce got on that stage with that fake baby bump. It was lined up with the same timing of where Kathy White would have been in her second trimester. The timeline of when she delivered Blue Ivy lines up almost perfect with the timeline of when Kathy White would have delivered. We all know that Blue Ivy came from a surrogate. They shut that hospital down like a president had just been. And parents who had just had children themselves weren't even allowed to see their own kids for 24 hours because of the security that was locking that whole thing down.
$1.3 million is alleged that Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Carters, paid this hospital to have the right.
As if this wasn't dark enough, the idea of Beyonce divorcing Jay came up again when Jason Lee had the guts to blackmail Beyonce on video. He promised to expose some huge gossip about her unless she encouraged Kelly Rowland to give an interview with him. At the time, a lot of people had no clue what he was talking about, but now they feel it had something to do with her and Jay.
Good internet would go crazy. I'm gonna tell them while Johnny puts a beep over this part of the show, so you'll never know what it is, but I want you to see their reactions, and I'm going to do it right now. Ooh. And that's where I go back to, like, we're friends in the game. We support each other. We help each other out. Can you imagine had I put that on Hollywood Law? Oh, there was one more thing. Beat this, Johnny.
Woo!
So that in itself, I think Beyonce could have gave me a, you know what I mean? Like, there should be a little love there. Now,
maybe she doesn't know.
Beyonce doesn't know.
Yeah, I don't think Beyonce, and they're not going to share that with her.
Yvette knows. I got the receipts. I still have the receipts. Yvette know I got the receipts. I got them. Now if I get that message to Beyonce,
yes,
I can get it to I'm connected. I could get the message to Beyonce.
She needs to know.
And I think people like her publicist, who I love, and I'm just being critical. That's just what I do. You know that, Yvette. We're trying to book Kelly Rowland right now. Now, if I don't get Kelly Rowland because I say this about, then it's gonna be a problem. Then I'm putting out receipts. The receipts I just told you about, then I'll put those out.
Fast forward to a few days ago, when Diddy was arrested, it was stated that Jay-Z was already shivering in his boots and supposedly met up with a defense counsel and a divorce lawyer. This tea was spilled by the famous Twitter page In Lawyer when they posted a 2 for today for Jay-Z. He spoke with a criminal defense counsel and a divorce attorney. The facts of this meeting were not given, but it's reasonable to infer it wasn't anything nice. He knows this issue is closing in on him, and that's why he's out here meeting with these attorneys to prepare for what's coming. And when it comes to Beyonce, some truly feel she was shocked by Jay-Z and probably didn't know about his illicit activities until Diddy was incriminated. These claims originated when Beyonce's ex-bodyguard said that Jay gets Beyonce addicted on nose candy and other narcotics so he may manage and control her. As if that wasn't awful enough, there have also been accusations of Jay cultivating Beyonce and turning her into his cash cow by reportedly pimping her to industry leaders. What makes this even worse is that Jay was nearing 30 when he started pursuing Beyonce, who was only 18 at the time. Mind you, Beyonce never really had much of a social life growing up. She was linked to her work from the time she was a teenager and only had one boyfriend in high school. People say this is why Beyonce remained when Jay-Z cheated on her. He's the only guy she's known since she was 18. Her whole profession is based around him, and she's formed a full family with him. She doesn't even know what it's like to be a woman on her own without him in the picture.
Like how? I feel like she never got to experience life with the different types of people, and the fact that he was so old, low-key, I feel like the only way she expresses herself is through her music. And I don't know them, obviously, but I'm just saying, just like by seeing the age gap and what happens between that age gap, she never got to live outside of him.
I definitely did that to definitely be so clear to cut the cord that I don't want to have anything to do with this person at all. I don't want to work with them. I'm even embarrassed that I have worked with them because it's literally shattered everything that I've tried to build after doing that work in my life. So if I have always said when I was a kid, I never would want to regret anything, but this I regret. I regret that we ever worked together because it's turned my life completely upside down. She's not been able to let me go. She's not been able to let me progress into a mature woman and work with other people, build other great entities and statues and trophies that develop in the arts world and music. She's just been a savage, stealing my intellectual property, stealing my ideas, just basically doing anything and everything to damage any type of happiness that I could have had up to current. That be in my own independent career, establishing my own company, my own music, relationships, whether it be business partnerships, personal relationships. So I've had to do a lot of work, a lot of practice of self-love. I know that, I was that kid that grew up and always did the right things and always studied really hard and always did a lot for whoever I was working for and the company. And, that time has come and passed over and over again. And it's just been a nightmare to try to move on and do other things with other people without it getting totally destroyed. The other people I've worked with that have been on a plateau have been paid to fire me. I found this out, and then it just kept happening. So it was a pattern. Get really excited about something, you build it up.
The suspicions about him supposedly pimping her out came out a few days ago when Dababy spilled the beans about the time he and Beyonce met with Jay during a secret industry meeting at Diddy's residence. According to Dababy, Diddy had booted everyone out of the mansion so he, Dababy, Beyonce, and Jay could have their solitude to do their own thing.
Damn,
As if that wasn't horrible enough, it turns out Beyonce was not the only underage female Jay was fooling with. There have previously been allegations of him dating Foxy Brown when she was barely 15 and he was already a mature man. He reportedly promised her a lucrative career in Hollywood, then departed her the moment he was done, and gave her a bundle of money to quiet up about it. This was then verified by Jay's longtime friend and ex-business partner, Dame Dash, during an interview with Nick Cannon.
At what age was Foxy Brown signed?
I wasn't paying attention to Foxy Brown.
But that's...
I didn't sign Foxy Brown.
I know
Stop
you
putting
didn't.
me
I'm
in
just
that.
asking a
You keep
question.
asking because I'm on the block. I'm responsible for everybody. I don't know
You
nothing
the
about
boss.
that. Yo, don't beat around the bush. Say what you want
I'm
to say.
just
What do you
asking.
mean by that question?
I was just asking.
What are you insinuating?
I'm
when
not
you ask me about
insinuating. I just
Foxy
asked the
Brown?
question.
I
I thought Foxy was like 16. That's all I'm saying.
It sounds like you.
All I'm saying is in
like
this
you got
industry,
some-
when we live
it
in these
seems like
glass
you got.
houses.
It seems like you got a question for Jay. Ask him. Y'all keep asking me questions. Y'all want to ask him because he ain't here. Ask him. I ain't got with that, and I don't even know nothing about that.
Y'all understand how similar this is to what Diddy did to Cassie. He began dating her when she was only 19 years old and promised her a future in Hollywood, only for him to put her through hell. And let's not forget how Jay was still aggressively associating himself with R. Kelly around the time Kelly was revealed for all the horrific things. He even created a collaborative album with him called The Best of Both Worlds and performed with him several times, knowing full well what Kelly was doing to those females. Child, the indications were there from the start, but people kept missing it because they believed Jay was a saint. My thoughts? The entire time, he was going behind Beyonce's back to meddle with people like Diddy. and now he's attempting to get away with it. As usual, others had their own ideas about this, including one guy who remarked, "I think Jay-Z and Beyonce are next. I don't believe Beyonce is a victim. I assume she's his partner in crime."